Do you know that in English, some verbs don't stand alone? They help other verbs. These are called auxiliary verbs. And today, I will show you how to use them correctly with simple examples. Hello, my good friends. I am FT, and welcome back to my channel where I make English simple for you. And if this is your first time here, you are very welcome. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my simple English lessons. By the end of this lesson, you will understand what auxiliary verbs are, the main types we use, and how to make correct sentences with them. So let's get started. Auxiliary verbs, also known as a helping verb, is like a friend that helps the main verb in a sentence. It works together with the main verb to show different meanings such as time, possibility, or necessity. For example, in the sentence I am playing, the word am is the auxiliary verb helping the main verb playing. It makes the sentence complete and gives more information about when the action is happening. So auxiliary verbs are like teamwork. They are like teamwork words that make sentences more interesting. What are auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are those verbs that are used with other verbs to express question, negative, and tenses. They are used to express possibility, willingness. These verbs are also called helping verbs. In other words, they are verbs used in forming tenses, voice, mood, and so on. So let's see some examples using helping verbs. Like for example, I am playing. It will come. The following are the main helping verbs: am, is, are, was, did, were, do, does, have, has, had, shall, will, can, could, may, might, must, hurt, should, would, need, dare, used to. These auxiliary verbs are used like main verbs and sometimes like helping verbs. There are two types of auxiliary verbs in English. We have the primary and the modal auxiliary verbs. The primary auxiliary verbs are verbs that are used as main verbs. In other words, the verb to be, verb to have, and verb to do are called primary auxiliary verbs. They are mainly used as the main verbs in a sentence. They are called primary auxiliary verbs because they help in making many grammatical constructions as number 1, question, 2, tense, 3, passion voice, and 4, their forms also keep changing according to the number and person of the subject. Now let's look at the auxiliary verb forms. The three common forms of auxiliary verbs are to be, to have, and to do. Each of this type has multiple forms. So for example, to be, am, is, are, was, were, be, been are the forms of to be verb. Then to have verb, we have, has, and had. Then to do, we have do, does, and did. Now let's see how we use these primary auxiliary verbs in sentences. The to be verb. The to be verb is used in the formation of the continuous tenses. For example, he is working, I was reading, I was writing. It is also used in the formation of the passive. For example, the gate was opening, the work is being done by me. We also use this auxiliary verb to indicate a plan, arrangement, or agreement. For example, I am to see him tomorrow. We also use the to be verb to denote commands. For example, mother says you are to go to market at once. Then, to have verb. We use the to have verb in the formation of the perfect tenses. For example, he has worked, he has been working. We also use the to have verb with the infinitive to indicate obligations. For example, I have to be there by 5 o'clock. The past form had is used to express obligation in the past. For example, I had to be there by 5 o'clock. We use the to have in negative and questions. Have to and had to are used with do, does, and did. For example, they had to go, he has to go. To do is used to make an interrogative sentence. For example, do you like football? Does it take tea? Did she write a letter? It is also used to make negative sentence. For example, I do not like him. He does not go to school. Now let's move to the other type of auxiliary verb, which is the mother auxiliary verbs. The mother auxiliary verbs are verbs that are used to express ability, possibility, purpose, politeness, request, and so on. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, and ought are called the mother auxiliary verbs. Mother auxiliary verbs has 3 features. Number 1, the mother auxiliaries are never used alone. It is very important to have a principal verb with them. The principal verb can either be explicit or it can be implied. For example, I can go. Will you go? Yes, I will. The second feature of the mother auxiliary is that the present tense of the mother auxiliary remains the same in any person. For example, I may pass, you may pass, he may pass. And the third one is that mother auxiliaries does not have infinitive or participle forms. Now let's see some examples of the mother verbs and how it is being used in sentences. 1. We have can. We use can for ability, possibility, and informal request. For example, in sentences, I can swim. This is ability. It can rain tomorrow. That is possibility. Can you give me a pen? That is request. Number 2, we have could. We use could for past ability, possibility, polite informal request. For example, when I was a child, I could run fast. That is past ability. Someone is knocking on the door. It could be John. That is possibility. Could you please attend the call? That is polite informal request. Then number 3, we have may. We use may for possibility, formal request, and permission to express wish. For example, John may go to movies in the evening. That is possibility. May I come in, sir? That is informal request or permission. May God bless you. This is a wish. At number 4, we have might. We use might for less possibility. For example, I might buy Ferrari. That is less possibility. At number 5, should. We use should for suggestion, advice. For example, you should wash hands before meal. That is suggestion. He is ill. He should meet the doctor. That is advice. Then, number 6, we have must. We use must for necessity, obligation, and so on. For example, if you want to win the match, you must practice. That is necessity. We must pay taxes on time. That is obligation. We must follow traffic rules. That is obligation. And at number 7, we have ought to. We use ought to for moral obligation. For example, we ought to respect elders. Number 8, we have will. We use will for certainty, request in simple future tense, and willingness. For example, train will come on time. That is certainty. Will you please pass the salt? This is request. I will play football tomorrow. This is simple future tense. Someone is knocking the door. I will open it. This is willingness. And at number 9, we have would. We use would for possibility, request, offer, and so on. For example, it would happen, possibility. Would you please help me? This is a request. Would you like to have tea or coffee? This is an offer. And at number 10, we have shall. We use shall to take confirmation. For example, shall I go now? Shall we move ahead? And at number 11, we have used to. We use used to for past repeated action. For example, I used to live in Paris. When I was a child, my father used to bring chocolates for me. And at number 12, need to. We use need to for necessity. For example, if you want to pass the exam, you need to study hard. These little words add a lot of meaning to our sentences and help us communicate more effectively. So the next time you are writing or speaking, remember to use mother auxiliary verbs to make your message clear and interesting. So, now is your turn. Make one sentence with be verb, one with have verb, and one with can. Write them in the comments. I'll be checking. So, now you know what auxiliary verbs are and how to use them correctly. If this lesson helped you, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more simple English lessons every week. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now.